Welcome to the voice of CX Africa, where Africa speaks and the world listens. Many organizations believe they deliver great service, yet customers walk away feeling unseen, unvalued, or misunderstood. So today, our topic is just a simple question, yet it makes a difference in customer experience. We're going to be talking about what is service versus hospitality and how does it make a difference. I'll be your host. I'm Laura Minde, your certified hospitality trainer. Now, before I introduce my guest, I'm actually super excited to introduce him. I want to give you a little story. Recently, I was in Namibia and specifically at Onguma Bush Camp. While I was there, I experienced something very unique. The staff were very attentive. They were very proactive. They showed care that during our 12 days in Namibia, I never felt before. So this prompted me to ask them a question. Who trained you? Because I believe care can be trained. And one name kept coming up. That curiosity led me to our guest of today, Kevin Dematas. Now, I don't want to botch his profile, so I'm going to go ahead and just read it for you. So Kevin Dematas is a hospitality and customer service consultant and the founder of Soul Hospitality, a Namibia-based coaching consultancy. It is focused on people-centered customer and guest experience. Kevin's experience spans in hospitality and cruise lines, service-driven environment, and aviation, including Delta Airlines. Now, what stood out for me in Kevin's profile is his grounded African perspective on customer experience, blending international standards with local realities to help teams deliver consistent, authentic service rooted in accountability and culture. I hope I did you justice, Kevin. Welcome to the
Yes,
show.
you did. Thank you, Laura, for inviting me. I'm very excited for your show today as well. Thank you.
Thank you. So now, Kevin, we want to just start simple. Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
For sure. Well, I'll keep it as short as I can because it is quite long. My name is Kerwin Mathis, like you said. I am from Trinidad and Tobago, and my hospitality and tourism career started in the Trinidad and Tobago Cadet Force. I do not come from a privileged background. And so when I was eventually transferred from the rifle company to the messing department, which is what takes or caters to the officers and their guests, I was first of all proud of this promotion, but also the areas and venues or environments this took me to. So having gone for the very first time into the officers' mess or the officers' quarters, and I saw what was inside there, I believe that first impression has stood with me all through the years until now, and which I believe also set the ground for me wanting to be a part of this industry and which has proven to be the only career I have followed through the beginning until now. And like you said, I started in the cruise lines industry. Once I left the cadet force, I traveled from Trinidad. I went out there, got international exposure, which further led me to the airline industry, which I never ever thought in this lifetime I would be a part of, and which I found was an opportunity many would have wanted. And back into the cruise line industry, into the luxury component of it, where I further developed and eventually making my way to Africa through knowing my wife. She is a Namibian, spoke to me of her country, very proud of her country. And came here, loved it, never turned back. And this is where I found myself until today, and where I saw the need for me being here as well.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that journey with us. Now, I'm curious from your experience across the hospitality, aviation, coaching business, how would you define the difference between service and hospitality in just simple terms?
For sure. So again, like many, I also once upon a time I thought service was the same in what we did for the guests and what I believe their experience would be. Now I am from the 90s. This is where I started my journey, and this I believe was the overall mindset of many of us until the millennia kicked in and our industry got an overhaul in that it was beginning to be clear and trained and emphasize, hold on, service and hospitality are actually two independent components from each other. Service is the actual knowledge, the transactional duties we do on a daily basis in, all the standards we have learned in delivering whatever the guests are paying for. We are only talking hospitality now. If they come into a restaurant, we are taught how to welcome them, seat them, give them the menu, etc. But behind that, and what many of us never focused on, was the hospitality. What actually created the experience and what many times the guest remembered. So going through the service is one thing, but guess what? Many times they won't even remember you. Even you may just have been invisible to them during the entire experience. What makes them remember you and and that service that you did for them is the passion behind everything you did. For example, many would say, so is service and hospitality the same? Can they be independent of each other? Again, I learned the hard truth in that service can be independent of hospitality. It can be a standalone component. It can be done alone. But would it actually bring in the overall income? Not necessarily. Because what I learned, what actually brings in that income and what many business owners want for their investment is the hospitality. Because that is what brings our guests back, not the service. So can the hospitality now be independent of the service? No. Hospitality needs the service. So you see, that was a hard lesson I had to learn. I would not say I learned it well. I'm still developing, but yes, it
Right.
was learned the hard way.
Wow, thank you so much. Because what I took away from you here is that service is transactional. Service is a duty. I like the word that you use, it's a duty. Whereas hospitality is a passion. You say it's about creating memories that will not be forgotten by our guests. While service can stand on its own, hospitality cannot stand on its own. I love that so much. All right, so now when we go back to, can hospitality be taught? Or can I ask more specifically, can you teach care?
No. And again, unfortunately, I know not many people like to hear the big no, but it's the reality. This has to
Why do
come
you
from
think
the
it can't
in
be taught?
it has to come from experience. It is taught by experience. So you can't be doing the service for many years. Many of us, we are driven by money. When I came into the industry for the first time, I loved it. But at the same time, I'm a kid. Remember, I'm 21 years of age into this cruise line industry, something I have never ever done before in my life. The income was just substantial. So at some point, I lost myself. It's a hard truth, which is not easily told, but it is the truth. So I lost myself because of the money factor of it.
Mm.
And I will not say I truly exercised hospitality then. It was purely transactional. I give the service and I want my money in return. But as the time goes on, once I got introduced to the luxury component of hospitality, I began to realize, hold on, you know what? Whether an investment is a 1 star or even up to a 6 star, I believe it's a mindset we should adopt already from day one, the luxury component of hospitality. Because this is where, as you do the service over and over and over, it becomes easy. But now putting the hospitality, the genuine care into what you're doing with the satisfaction of seeing that guest walk out of your area very happy, remembering what you did for them that in itself brings the satisfaction, and it prompts you to want to do that again and again and again. So no, it cannot be taught. Um,
Mm.
it is something you have to experience. It comes from experience, and at some point, it has to come from the inside. And this is where the passion for this has to come up at some point. So, for a beginner into our industry, yes, you have some very phenomenal individuals. They come into an industry already passionate, and they are there, and those are our stars. The majority of us,
Mm.
however, no, we come in because of the money part of it. And that's where the service is driven, but not necessarily the hospitality, if that makes sense.
I like the way you said boldly that you cannot teach care. Somebody has to have it genuinely in them through their experiences. And I like you pointed the word about mindset because it's about you being holding yourself accountable to the kind of service that you deliver to others. How does that make them feel? How would that make you feel if I made someone else happy? So I like the way you put that, that you're honest and blunt that no, we cannot teach care. So now,
Go ahead.
no, it's okay. No, go ahead, go ahead. It's okay.
Yeah, yeah. So again, this is where we learn now this thing of the customer experience. Again, it is learned that it is shaped more by people behavior more than what the brand itself promises. And again, once the people in that environment they are taught what the standards are, it should be encouraged that they learn and that they be held accountable as well in what they do. Because you see, it seems many businesses they are afraid to hold team members accountable in the fear that they may leave. But then you're not empowering that person either to embrace what their role is in hospitality. So do not be afraid. Don't be surprised even that person may welcome you, holding them accountable for whatever their responsibilities are. Now you are empowering that person towards embracing responsibility in their area. And believe it or not, it does contribute towards this hospitality component again within the service areas. Again, that is something I learned.
Wow.
Mm,
And that, what I took away from there is actually something I saw recently on a video. And it said that we are afraid to hold people accountable because we have empathy. So we are hiding
mm,
behind the empathy word and saying, but so and so, she does their work so well. Yeah, just because they're late today, it's okay. But then we are reinforcing bad behaviors. So I like that you pointed that we need to hold people accountable. Empathy has its part, but responsibility, accountability has its part too, as well.
it
Wow.
does.
Now, there's
It does.
something that you also mentioned, and I liked it. And I just want to go back to it when you say that the service mindset, that you should be delivering exceptional care, whether you're working for a 1 star or 7 star hotel.
Exactly.
That was very good. That was very
that
powerful.
mindset has that mindset has to be formed already from day one. So with any candidate we may work with, it does not matter what star or rating their property holds. We want that our youth in our industry begin embracing this mindset already. You know what? Let us think on this level and not on that. If we say we want to improve your remuneration, it has to start from you. You can't sit and you cannot wait for it. If you really want it, you have to be hungry. You have to work for it. But it means practicing the standards, working, look at what you do during your service period, but also try to put into effect the hospitality, the passion in what you're doing. Enjoy what you're doing. Have fun. Not many times you will hear that in a
Yes.
hospitality and tourism environment. You come in, hey, we want
Not
this
with
done.
the late night.
Yep, yep.
Now, you talked about standards, and I wanted to know, do you think standards kill hospitality or does it protect it? The SOPs that we put in place, do they kill the hospitality or do they protect it?
Hmm. That's a very good question. And I would say standards are important, but I believe we shouldn't overly focus on that, Laura, because at some point the team members they will get exhausted with a leader every single moment of the day enforcing, hey, this is the standard, this is what has to be done. The guest wants it that way, it cannot be done. The SOP said. So we have to lean away from being rigid in our service areas as well. I do believe SOPs keep the structure and the consistency, but we should be less rigid as well, because the last thing we want for our team members is customer experience fatigue, because with too many frameworks and too little reinforcement in them, or too much reinforcement, it makes the team member disengaged. They are
Mm,
demotivated. They will even lose what their role is, the clarity of what their role is. Now, let's shift away briefly, cross training and a team member hired to do a specific job. A
mm-hmm.
team member is hired to do a specific job, it is fine. We also want to empower them that in the case any extra duties come, you should be able to do it. Do not say it's not
Right.
my job, because that also contributes to team morale going down, but also creating a toxic work environment. Also, I
Right.
believe uh, businesses should also cross train their team members, like officially give them a cross training program. Now, this makes it more formal. Even though you are hired to be a bartender, you should be able to assist in the reception desk, assist the
True.
porter, assist the
Mm.
waiter on the floor. A late check-in came in, they need assistance with their baggage to the rooms. You can assist. In doing a
Yes.
formal cross training program, believe it or not, that team member will embrace their role and being empowered to assist in other roles where necessary as well, without thinking, oh, it's not my job. Am I getting paid for that? But knowing, hey, because you are excelling even in what you were taught apart from your job, you can very well be a candidate for promotion later on.
Right.
So we have to, put into place these narratives in our service environments as well. So yes, not straying from what your question is or was, sorry, we should be careful with
No, it's
all of
okay.
these. We should be very careful with all of these procedures or SOPs you want to put into place. It is important, but we should be not too much rigid with them either. We are in a new millennia. We are working with Gen Zs. So we have to be very
Yes.
careful.
So where do you draw the line though? Because you say that the standards are put to be able to protect the systems and the processes and maybe the brand image. So where do you draw the line that, okay, this is okay to bend from the SOP? Because there's that aspect of authenticity that some people are so rigid that this is how we're supposed to do it. This is the policy. So where is the line? Where do we draw the line?
Well, if we want those same guests to return to the business, we have to be less rigid. And this is where the hospitality comes in. Because just as you said it, the SOPs, the standards, all these are the service, what we are taught, what we have to know. We have to be knowledgeable in our role that we are hired to perform. But the hospitality comes in when we choose to be less rigid in order to please our guests. I'm not saying to be giving away things to increase our costs, that we work
Yes.
at a loss, of course not, but to identify what can we do to ensure our guests they truly enjoy the environment that they are in, the people that are around them providing the service, and which would make them want to return again. Because again, the guests do not remember, many times they would not even think of the service. Many of these people are well traveled individuals as well. They have seen it all. Many times they know the business better than even myself. So, what can I do to make an impression on them? The hospitality. Show them that we can think out of the box to ensure memories are
Yes.
made, because that's what we are here for, to create memories, to surprise and to delight our guests.
I like that. Now, on that note, there is this thing that I always hear when it comes to hospitality. Staff members saying something like, oh, we can't do that because it's company policy. So, as you put it, I think this is being very rigid because, again, if I understood you correctly, we need to have compassion. We need to put ourselves in the guest's shoes to understand where they're coming from. And then we need to figure out what is it that we can do for them in spite of or despite of this policy being in place. What do you have to add on that?
Speaking of what we spoke of before, I just believe, we need to encourage our team members to adhere to the SOPs and standards because, again, this is what keeps the consistency. This is what creates the personality for whatever the brand or product may be. It keeps structure, but we should also be able to enforce that, we need these guests to return. We need you to put, like you said very nicely, place yourself into the shoe of that guest. Would you like what you just did there to that guest? Think about it.
Mm,
When I ask that
mm,
question sometimes to my team members, some of them will actually stop and think, Mr. K, no, you're right. I don't think I would like what I just did. Then it's fine. So
yeah.
we don't reprimand the team member and you know abuse them and all of these things, but rather speak to them. Let them try to think, hold on, did you like what you just did? And let them give you the reply. Do not give the reply to them. This is how they learn. And this is how they will realize, okay, this is what I did the last time. Let me see what I can do to improve this from not happening again. Let it be a positive engagement. So what I see we are having here, well, I'm speaking Namibia now. What I see we have here in Namibia is not a knowledge gap here, Laura, or what team members down here. I see where they are very smart individuals. They
Right.
can uh, fall into place or embrace what has to be done when it comes to the guest experience, meaning the hospitality. But what we do have down here is a skills gap. And I believe we need to be able to, to show and to guide our team members on that right path, which in essence will create a consistency gap and that guests will definitely not forget and what they will experience as a positive engagement every time they go to whatever environment they go into. So that's what we want to do for our guests. That every single time they go to whatever area, that they are, oh wow, why don't I see that where I have been before? Why do I have to see it here? And that's what we want. That guest will never ever forget that. And many times it's the smallest things, yeah. Many of our team members think, wow, we have to create a song and a dance for our guests to remember. No, it's the
Yeah.
smallest things. A simple thing of holding the hand and shaking it. Good and knowing the name. Good day, Mr. Smith. How are you doing? Welcome to blah, blah, blah. My name is that little engagement alone. Just by you knowing their name, they feel like $1 million already. And
Yeah.
I love it every time when I can see our team members do that. I hope I'm not
Yeah,
straying
and
from the
that's
point
actually
too
a
much,
true
right?
story. Yes, it's a true story because that's exactly what I experienced at Tonguma. I think when we spoke yesterday briefly, I told you how they treated my children. My children were
Mm,
not referred to as, oh, ma'am, what are your children eating? They actually approached my children and asked, Victor, Christian, what would you like to eat today? You know, Victor, would you like to have a cushion to make you sit better at the table? So they were paying very specific attention to the children, making them feel they are part of the table and not a side thing on the table. So that is what I
exactly.
really loved, paying attention to details, making people feel valued, whether they're grown-ups, old or young, you make everyone feel valuable in your establishment. Remembering their names. Every time we walked in, hello Laura, how are you? How are the kids? How's Victor and Christian? They refer them to their name all the time. And I think I mentioned they also, learned a little bit of Kiswahili and they will try to engage with me in Kiswahili. And to me, that's why I say it made it very exceptional. I felt welcomed, I felt cared for, I felt seen, I felt valued. It was just exceptional. And that's why I
Wow.
specifically wanted to mention Onguma Bush Camp. So all of you
Wow.
watching out there, please visit that property. Now, let's go back to our topic. Let's talk about leadership and culture. Do you think the behaviors of the leader can influence how people show up at the workplaces and in turn affect hospitality?
Most definitely. Most definitely. And this is where it is important leadership programs, especially those that will be leading the teams. I would always stress whenever a training or a coaching session has to be done, that the supervisors and even the management should be present. Guess what? The teams, they love that. They love that here is this person doing a training program for us, but our bosses are also included. Now, some teams may feel intimidated. Oh, no, I may not say some things because my boss is there. No, once you make it known, ladies, gentlemen, so long as you are here in this coaching or training period, there is no supervisor or manager or waiter or bartender. We are all on the same level doing, or we are all aiming for the same thing, which is guest satisfaction, creating the experience. So this is an open platform and we are here to discuss. I am not here to work over you. I am here to work with you. So we are all on the same level. So yes, an internal culture needs to be cultivated, Laura, in any work environment, in that things are able to be corrected. Things should not be ignored. And if they are ignored, it should be attended to as soon as is possible because our team members look at these things from our leaders. What our leaders do and say, how they look, how they walk, how they talk, we look at these things as well because then, our Gen Zs, again, I am coming back to our Gen Zs. I love them, but they are also very, attentive to
Yes.
every single thing that goes in front of them. So if we want to lead an example, we have to lead by example. I always tell the team members whenever I go out, look at my name tag. I don't have to wear a name tag, but why do I wear it? Because if we are telling you you need to have your name tag visible at all times, then I will make sure mine is also visible at all times. I will make sure
Yeah.
my grooming is on point, my nails, my hair, my shoe, every single thing. So we have to lead by example because what I've always seen, Laura, guests would always feel this internal culture long before they even notice what the service standards are. This is no joke at all. And this is something
Well,
I
I like the
learned.
fact that you say that because I was going to literally ask you that. When you walk into a hotel or a hospitality establishment, what is the first thing that you notice? And I like that you just say that. Just go on and
Yep.
expand on it.
Yes, I mean, the guests, they somehow seem to sense how the teams will speak to each other. How do they welcome me, the guest? How am I made to feel? Would my feeling resonate with what their welcome was to me? Um, Service standards, Laura, they are there to guide the behavior of our team members. But the internal culture, this is what shapes the experience. In other words, the hospitality. So, yes, we have to encourage our teams. I know the remuneration in Namibia, in the hospitality and tourism sector, may not be where we want it now, but this is what we are aspiring to, in that we are able to elevate our team members to that level of service and hospitality, whereby the business owners would start seeing that return on their investment, which was given in the way or paid for in the way of training and whatever, and that they actually start to see some value in that, which would then prompt them to see, hold on, our business is actually taking a turn for the better, which will
Right.
further improve the budget and which will at some point make way for an increase in remuneration. Now, this may sound like a fantasy, but it's not. Because I was very happy to see where one of the clients we work with, they did just that, Laura. I kid you not. And
Yes.
it made me so happy that this particular team we worked with for them, at some point they began to see that value, that return on
Yes.
investment we are talking about, which further prompted them to increase the salary of this team, Laura. And for me,
Yes.
this was so much encouragement because it then showed that, hold on, we are getting somewhere. What we want overall for the industry is not going to happen in the next 5 or 10 years,
Yeah.
but that's what we are aspiring to. In the near future, not the distant future, in the near future, hopefully we will see more businesses, leaning towards that as well. Because we
Wow. I
want
like that.
that the honor.
I hope to see that too. Of course, as we spoke yesterday, I said probably in Rwanda it's the same, the salaries are very low. In Tanzania it's
Yeah.
the same, the salaries are very low. So if you can change that in the near future, and I like that word near future, it will be, yeah, we'll have more return on investment. Happy employees create happy customers. So now I wanted to now ask one question before we wrap up here. Do you think hospitality is more visible in organization on how they handle problems than how they handle success?
Hmm. I would say yes, Laura. I mean, look at where, no, please correct me if I'm going in the wrong direction. Where my focus initially was hospitality, primarily in the hospitality and tourism sector, I am also seeing where the corporate sector, meaning the insurance, the banking sector, etc., they are realizing, hold on, where we were losing or not gaining enough clients in the past due to service, once we start injecting that certain amount or full amount of hospitality by genuinely showing care to the end user we deal with on a daily basis, these customers, they tend to feel more engaged, more cared that, hold on, is this the same bank I used to bank with in the last 5 years? Something has changed. They will sense it. This would have been a problem right there. Lack or not enough revenue coming into that business. But by introducing hospitality alongside service, customers and guests, they see these things, Laura, and they feel it and they will respond to it positively. I hope I answered the question properly.
Yeah, the question was targeting more about when a problem happens. Is this the opportunity to see hospitality in action when problems happen? Because when a problem happens, some of us tend to go into denial, we deflect,
Ah,
we blame the customers. So,
yeah.
when problems happen, how do we see hospitality in action? And I wanted to get an example from you, hospitality in action when problems happen.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I get, oh, I apologize. I get, you see where it is important to listen to understand. So,
No,
yes,
that's okay. Maybe I didn't put the question correctly as well.
no, 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 it's fine. A complaint, for example. A guest makes what would be a complaint during the service. Maybe they sat too long waiting for their meal. Many of us may feel intimidated because of that guest. Many times a guest, when they complain, they don't complain nicely. Yeah? They tend to get loud or they tend to say things which can hurt. What we need to remember is what may be a small problem for us. We may see it as a small problem. For that guest, it can be something huge because, first of all, they are spending money as well for that experience. And many people, that's what they want to see, especially in these tough economic times. They do want to see value for their money. And therefore, hospitality in a situation like that can save the situation. It can definitely de-escalate that situation so much in how we respond to that complaint, Laura. Sometimes you do
Mm,
it properly and injecting that hospitality by apologizing, of course, making it seem like, okay, you know what? It's my fault. I do apologize. Let's see how we can fix this and give you a solution. Do you know there are some guests where initially they were very irritated and may have said some things. They will turn around and they will apologize to you because of that hospitality, Laura. Now, if you were to just go put into effect the standards or the SOPs into saving that situation, you will not get
Yeah.
that apology at all. It will only escalate the
Sure.
situation further.
I like it. So to summarize what you just said is that when a problem happens, it's not about the problem itself or how we fix that problem. It's about how we make the customer feel during the process of fixing it. And like you say, by genuinely apologizing, empathizing, telling them what it is that you're going to do. And I think this is also the opportunity to go above and beyond. And then that's when
Yes,
it comes the service recovery paradox that I was angry, but you managed to win me over, and now you have a loyal customer. Wow,
most
Kerwin,
definitely.
this has been
Most
such an
definitely.
insightful session. However, we're coming to an end of it, and I didn't want
Oh
to wrap
no.
up just like that. Yeah, it's already 30 minutes. The conversation was flowing so well that we lost track of time.
I see.
So I want to end our session by just getting to know you a little bit. And this, we call it the rapid round. So I will
Oh,
just
okay.
ask you random questions about you, and you have about a minute or 30 seconds to a minute to give us an answer.
Very well.
Now, first question. You mentioned that you are in the hospitality industry, aviation industry, coaching industry. Which one of these shaped your view of hospitality the most and why?
I would say it would definitely be the cruise line sector, Laura, because there I met a lot of diverse guests, different backgrounds, different cultures. And what I learned is that our standards cannot cater to all of them. And this is where we have to learn to be flexible, to adapt, to change.
Thank you so much. Then another question. I think you already answered this before, which was what's the first thing you notice when you walk into a hotel or a service environment?
The first impression. If you can make that first impression on that guest, they will remember you forever. First and foremost, if you can address them by name, you have it right there already. Everything is going in the right direction. Especially if you are working in reception, my goodness, the name is in front of you. Good day, Mrs. Jane. Welcome to. And that's it. Everything goes perfect from there.
The last question. What is one hospitality habit that you personally never switch off?
Oh my goodness. I can never go into a restaurant in peace and relax. I don't know why. Instead of simply sitting and enjoying the experience and to switch off, I would always find myself looking. And I do bite my tongue if I want to say something. I really literally bite my tongue.
You and me both. You and me. That's why we get to know you now because I was observing. I'm always observing. I'm always, seeing who's supposed to do the best exceptional service. So I'm never like, I don't know. I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Well,
So all I
Kerwin, it
can
was
say,
a pleasure
yes,
having you.
yes.
Yes, so for all of you watching out there, I hope you found this useful. And if you know of a leader you think must listen to this show, please go ahead and share the video with them. Until next time, I'm Laura Minder from the Voice of CX Africa. See you soon.